Hello fellow initiates, it's DSDude464 here, bringing you some awesome new info about Hunt Showdown. So first of all, some pretty interesting news. They announced that the winner of the Grunt contest has been decided, so congratulations to Brandon_Brandoff. And congratulations to the other finalists as well for each receiving an alpha key. You heard that right. The finalists of this contest received a key to the alpha test this winter. So, make sure you jump into the official Hunt Discord and subreddit so you can keep an eye out for any future contests that might get you a key to the alpha. Alright, so now on to the main meat of the video. If you haven't seen yet, Crytek has started doing a weekly developer live stream. They stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So far, they have had 2 streams, so I am a bit behind, but I decided to just do an info dump for both streams in this one video. Now, there is a whole lot of info to go over, so buckle up. To start, we will be talking mainly about the weapons. There are going to be 9 rifles, 12 pistols, 8 shotguns, 3 melee weapons, 9 consumables, and 7 tools when the game first enters early access. Now, these aren't necessarily all individual weapons, but are different variants of some base weapons. For example, there are only 2 base shotguns, but they all have different ways to change up the shotguns, such as sawed-off barrels, longer or shorter stocks. They eventually want to add a customization feature for your weapons, but as of right now, they are separate weapons that you simply need to purchase in the shop. We also learned that consumables do need to be purchased again when they run out, but not ammo for your weapons, which are instead refilled at the start of the new map. Consumables are things like the TNT, the fire bombs, concertina bombs, those kinds of things. Those need to be repurchased at the end of a match. We also saw a couple of cool new weapons that we haven't seen yet, which were the Quad Derringer, which is a small 4-barreled pistol that can be equipped in a different slot other than your secondary weapon slot, so like an equipment slot. We also saw some brass knuckles that were just absolutely brutal and looked like a ton of fun to use. And we saw the Nitro Express rifle, which I think is going to be amazing. They are also currently working on adding a bow and arrow system to the game, which I think would just be so much fun to use. They want you to be able to retrieve your ammo and things like that. So now let's talk about some of the mechanics with the weapons. First of all, large melee weapons such as the cavalry saber and the machete are equipped as secondary weapons, while the knife is considered a tool and is in one of the equipment slots. So kind of the pros and cons of each is that you can switch to secondary weapons more quickly than the equipment slot. You can also block with the large melee weapons, but the knife is much faster and more precise. Something that is very interesting is that your character will not automatically reload when you run out of ammo like in Halo or Call of Duty. Instead, when you pull the trigger, you will simply hear a click every single time until you manually press the reload button. On top of that, with certain weapons, you have to chamber around if you completely empty it, like the Winfield Talon. You'll have to put one in, use the lever, and then keep reloading it. This ties into the idea that they have of really knowing your weapons. The better you know your weapons, the better you're going to be able to use them. Something else that's going to be very interesting is actually the way you aim your weapon. So the base state of your weapon is not aiming. It's when, you're kind of just holding your weapon to the side when you're walking around. To aim, you actually have to hold right click, which will move to what they call shoulder aiming, which is kind of the base aiming you see in most games. And then you actually need to hold shift to aim down the sights. They stated that the regular shoulder aim is still very accurate, but for those really long distance accuracy shots, you need to use the iron sights. They also let us know that eventually there will be high-end sniper scopes that you can purchase, but just not quite yet. We learned as well that basically these weapons will be hit scan weapons, so what that means is if your cursor is on the target when you pull the trigger, then it will hit them. Something interesting they might add is the idea of weapon jamming. They don't want it to be like when you are firing and the weapon jams, but rather after you fire and there's something wrong with the reload mechanism and it makes the reload animation just a little bit longer or something along those lines. They had something originally, but they decided to scrap it for now and are trying to work on something that isn't quite so frustrating. They also showed off something I'm excited for, which is the fact that it actually matters where you hit the AI. For example, one headshot will take out most of the zombies, and body shots will do significantly less damage. In addition to that, if a zombie is holding a weapon like a torch or a rock and you shoot their arm, it will actually cause them to drop that weapon. You can also shoot them in the legs to make them move much slower. Now, keep in mind this is only on AI and will not affect any other players. Well, I mean, it definitely still matters where you end up shooting them. It's just you won't be able to disarm them or make them move a whole lot slower by shooting them in the legs. And speaking of AI, I wanted to point out how amazing these AI models actually look and sound. I just really wanted to make sure we appreciate the work these artists have done. They look incredible, and I can't wait to play against them. In addition to that, the weapon models are also just incredible. All of the moving parts as the weapon fires is just so incredible and really shows their attention to detail. Now, the last bit of info for the weapons I wanted to bring up was their plans to add special totems and enchantments, as well as different ammo types to the game eventually. What those are going to be, they didn't really say. We'll have to find out. I'm assuming maybe it'll be a reload speed increase or something like that, and different ammo types might be explosive ammo or incendiary ammo, things like that. Now we'll go over general information that I was able to glean from these streams. First of all, there are currently 15 named locations, which are one of the two following area types, a compound or a POI. POI stands for Point of Interest. The difference between the two is that POIs are larger than compounds and have more amounts of AI, but they also said that there's more of a reward for entering into these points of interest. The monster also spawns in one of those 15 named locations every single time, and on top of that, he has multiple spawn points within these locations. Something that ties into that I feel like they've really been trying to push in these two streams is the idea that each match is going to be something unique and different, even going as far as to make the doors and windows, every single one of them, spawn in a completely random state every match. Some other things that are like this is the time of day, the AI that spawn, where pickups and reloading stations spawn will also be randomized to help push this idea. We also learned really quick that there are health stations as well as ammo stations to refuel, and if you and your partner use those stations, it will make sure that your enemies cannot use them. Something else I noticed that they've really wanted to push in these videos over and over again is the idea that they still want it to be dangerous without the game being frustrating, which ties into that idea of why they kind of scrapped the weapon jamming for now and why other players can't disarm you or make you walk slower being shot in the leg, things like that. We also learned some interesting information about rewards and experience points. First of all, you will earn experience points for each of the clues that you uncover and activate. In addition to that, killing enemy players will also net you some extra experience points. They also let us know that there will be different AI difficulty settings when selecting your mission. They assured us that doesn't mean the AI is going to turn into bullet sponges, but rather increases the spawn rates and spawn density of the AI, thus creating a more difficult scenario. These higher difficulty missions will obviously get you more XP and more gold. And, the final way to earn a little bit of extra gold at the end of the match is to be sure to exit with your partner. If you are both holding one of the bounty tokens, so for those of you who don't know, when you kill the monster and banish them, 2 bounty tokens will spawn. You can either pick one up and run to try and sort of distract others with the one that's still there, or you and your partner can take both of them for extra loot. If you are both holding one of the bounty tokens, then you both receive the awards that you and your partner have received. In addition to that, if only one of you has the bounty token, then you both receive the exact same amount for that one bounty token. So it doubles if you have both. On top of that, extracting with your partner only takes 10 seconds, whereas leaving by yourself takes 20 seconds, which in a game like this can make a huge difference. So make sure you're sticking with your partner and not leaving them behind. Finally, the last bit of info I wanted to discuss was that we were given a small hint as to what the hunter recruiting system is most likely going to be like. At one point, it was mentioned that you could hire a more high-end hunter rather than a cheaper one, and you'd have better gears and stats. So it sounds to me like there are going to be different tiers of hunters that go up in price, but also come with better weapons and personal stats, which I think that is quite an interesting idea, and is actually a good complement to the permadeath situation. You know, maybe you've had a hunter that you've been working on for a really long time, and you lose them, but you still have a bunch of gold saved up. You can probably purchase a hunter that's on the higher end to sort of make up for that. Well, that's most of the important info that I was able to take from these two streams. With that being said, I highly recommend you go check them out to see if there was anything I might have missed. I did link them both in the description below, as well as the link to Crytek's Twitch channel, where they will be streaming every Thursday with brand new info. I'm also going to go ahead and continue to link to the alpha sign up, so make sure to click on that and check that out. Let me know down in the comments below if there was anything I missed in the videos. Also, let me know if there's anything here that really gets you excited. I just can't wait for this game. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and remember, hunt together or die alone.